Data connections are an essential part of Power BI. There are so many options to connect to your data within the Power BI desktop and Power BI service interface. You have connections like CSV files, Excel file, MySQL databases like SQL or PostgreSQL. We have data vars, we have the data flows before eventually getting to your data sets, before you start manipulating your data sets, and finally visualizing your data sets. So welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Excel Island, where the goal and objective is to learn and master the Microsoft Power BI tool over the next 100 days. And today is day 65. We've been learning consistently over the past 64 days. And out of the whole career track section, which is the data analyst in Power BI career track section, we are actually 90% through the whole career track. We have just 10% more lessons to go to complete the whole career track. And we actually estimated a 100-day period for this challenge, for this learning journey. But as it seems, we may actually finish the whole lessons before day 70, and we get to build uh, reports, dashboard, portfolios to showcase what we've learned over the past 60 plus days. So welcome back to this course, which is data connections in Power BI, where you'll be learning all about the different data connection that you can connect to within your Power BI desktop and Power BI service interface. You'll be learning how to set up this connection and different data source settings you need to make your data source more more easy and interesting to connect to. So we started this course on day 64. We actually did the first chapter in the course. Out of the 3 chapters, the first chapter was data connections in Power BI, where we look at the commonly used data connections for Power BI. And we also get some insight into the data connection feature within Power BI service versus Power BI desktop. So on today's live stream, which is the second day of this data connections in Power BI course, we'll be looking at databases and more. We want to explore different databases so that we'll learn about different settings and learn about the different storage modes offered by Power BI. And you can use coding to alter the import process also. So without further ado, let's jump back to learning. Also, all data set exercise files, Power BI files that I'll be using to learn and will continue to be using to learn is already linked under the YouTube description. Do make sure to download those files and practice along with me. Without further ado, let's jump back to learning and welcome back to day 65. So I'll just jump over to my DataCamp interface. Then we continue from where we stopped, which is data connections in Power BI. Let me just walk you through what we've learned so far. You can see we are on the career track, data analyst in Power BI, and when I actually started this fun way of learning, it all started with SQL. We learned SQL for over 100. I think that went for a complete 100 days because I think SQL is more in depth and more requires more coding than Power BI. So once we complete this Power BI career track, we're moving to a more intense coding tool, which is data analyst with Python. So you definitely want to subscribe right now and put on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever I go live or drop a new content on the channel so you can learn and improve your data skills with me. So let's click on this data analyst in Power BI rather and see what we have there. So it estimated 48 hours of learning for the whole 17 courses, and actually I spent over 60 days on this, and on average I spent an hour on average on each chapter in each course, and each course actually contained at least 3 to 4 chapters. So we spent over 65 hours trying to complete this little career track. So estimation of 48 hours is not good enough. It's an estimation though. Probably while practicing, following the instructor, pausing the video, reading the instructions, trying to do what you need to do, thinking about the Power BI reports, the calculations, you're definitely going to spend more hours than you can imagine. So that's it there. So if you're looking to complete this career track, just have it at the back of your mind. You'll be spending over 60, 17 hours to complete the whole career track. So I've done the work for you. So if I move down, you can see it all started with introduction to Power BI, where we got introduced to the Power BI reports and what Power BI desktop is. Then it went all the way down to course 16 that we are on today, which is data connections in Power BI. And we did some case studies also. If you're looking to get your hands dirty, we did a case study on HR analytics in Power BI. We also went further and looked at a case study called analyzing customer churn in Power BI. So it was more intense and more interesting, at least after each 3 to 4 courses, you are given a case study to implement what you've learned previously before moving to the next lessons. So hopefully we have a case study after this final part, by doubt. So let's continue on today's course, which is data connections. We are moving to databases and more. So I just put on my headset real quick. Okay, a quick recap on what we learned one day ago. That was yesterday. We just covered some little stuffs here. You can see you can catch all these lessons, all this knowledge on day 64 or live stream. Click on got it.
Welcome back. In this chapter, we will start looking into different options for data source connections and topics related to changing our imported data processes. Power BI Desktop gives users over 35 different types of databases to connect to, such as SQL Server, MySQL, and PostgreSQL, to name a few. It is possible to connect to databases that are in local or cloud-based environments. Once again, it is important to know that databases are a type of data source for Power BI. They provide the path to the data we want to work with within Power BI Desktop. Datasets are a collection of both the data source and the data contained. Any connection made via a data source to Power BI results in the creation of a dataset from that source. Some data sources have multiple storage options for connecting data to Power BI. This is also true for databases, with some having more than one option for connecting to data sources. In general, there are 3 main data storage types: import, direct query, and live. Import is the default type and is available for all data sources in Power BI. Direct query is not available for all data sources that can connect to Power BI. Live connection types are not as common, as only a few data sources can support this type. Overall, the main pros of import mode are that once the connection has been made and the data from the source has been cached, it is the fastest possible connection. It also provides users with the full use of Power BI features, including Power Query and DAX functions. However, some of the cons of import mode include file size limitations that can affect how much data you can bring into the file. Also, regular refreshes are required, which can mean a lot of time-consuming processes have to be carried out. Direct Query is able to support large-scale datasets, and the fact that it queries the data source when required means reports and dashboards are near real-time in terms of data displayed. However, it does not support all Power BI features, as they have to be written in native queries understood by the source. Live connections also support large-scale datasets and have unlimited refresh frequency. The cons of this storage mode include that Power Query is not available, and the connection can be much slower. As mentioned already, import mode is the default setting that is available for all data sources. This storage mode actually brings in the data from the data source, and it stores it within the Power BI environment. The data is cached in Power BI. This means that we can manipulate the data within Power BI without affecting the actual data in the data source. This storage mode is compatible with all features available in Power BI and provides us with the most complete experience of the software. The second most common storage mode is Direct Query, which is not available for all data sources. For this storage mode, a connection is made between the data source schema and Power BI Desktop. However, data is not pulled in to Power BI. What happens is that Power BI communicates in the language of the data source and brings in data as and when required. One main advantage of this storage mode is that data doesn't need to be cached in the Power BI file, so file sizes can be reduced and overall performance is improved. After creating a data connection, it still might be necessary for you to make changes to the connection. Power BI allows users to make changes to data connections, which can be especially useful when database connections are involved. This can be done from a number of different locations within Power BI. After any changes are carried out to data connections, it is important to refresh the connections that have been made. We will look into these topics in more detail later on. Alright, time for some practice. Good luck!
I think the key takeaway here is that when you connect to data, the import mode in Power BI, the data is cached, and Power BI only needs to allow Power BI allows you to copy. Data is copied when you connect to using import mode. Rather, the data is copied and stored in Power BI. So it's more like cached. So you can transform the whole data set without actually affecting the data source. That's interesting. I think that was my key takeaway here. And direct query also, I believe for certain data sources, allows for reduced size of data connections. Okay. Why changing data connection? I think live connection is not well. eh, They didn't dwell on live connections here well enough. They only focus on import mode and direct query. Okay, interesting. So it says storage modes. When working with Power BI in corporate environments, we come across many different types of data sources and data management system. That's a huge topic there, because while learning different data sources, I'll come across some data management system. I'll be like, is this a data management system or not? So knowledge of the different storage modes that are available within Power BI, particularly the two most commonly used, will ensure you are able to connect using the most appropriate way with any data source you encounter. The two most commonly used are import mode and direct query. So live connection is not not commonly used rather. So it says import mode easily handles large data volumes. That should be direct query. I've said it's direct query, not import mode. Data stored in Power BI. Will it be stored? Where? It will be stored using import mode. Full data preparation capabilities. That should be import mode. Data stored at source. Oh, that should definitely be direct query. Refresh processes removes, then reloads all data from all tables. The refresh process is removed. Hmm. I'll go for direct query though. Let's go for direct query though. Models do not require scheduled data refresh. That should be import mode. Let's see. Ooh, let's see. I've given the other one to the other one. So refresh process removed, then reloads all data for all table. Yeah. That's easy. That is direct query. If you can't refresh process, if refresh process is removed, you have to reload all data from all tables to bring in new data from a data source. Okay, that's correct. Great work. An understanding of the storage modes that are available in Power BI is important, as it allows you to create the most efficient connection for your reporting needs. It also gives a better appreciation of the different ways that the data source can interact with Power BI. Okay, so let's continue. Let's explore different connections.
As we have seen, the database of choice for WWI is MySQL. This was set up using this window. MySQL database only provides us with the import storage mode option. Let's see how the process starts for some other database connections with different storage mode options. If we go to Get Data and select SQL Server, we see a similar window appear. However, for this database connection, we have the option to choose the storage mode type. We can either select Import or Direct Query, and Power BI will do the rest of the work in the background. When a connection has already been set up, Power BI still gives us the ability to make changes to those connections. When in the Home tab, we can click on the Transform Data button in the Queries section and click on the Data Source Settings option. We will then see a new window appear that shows us the data sources that are currently active in the file. Here we have options to change the source, edit permissions, or clear permissions. If we click on Change Source, we will see the MySQL database connection window appear. If a database has changed its name, or there is a new server name that is being used, we would be able to make changes from here. If we click on Edit Permissions, we will see a new window appear. Here we can edit or delete the credentials of the database connection. This is useful if there are changes to usernames or passwords for specific databases. In addition, we can also change the privacy level from this window for the database. It is also useful to note that Power BI allows us to make changes to data connections from Power Query Editor. This time, let's click on Transform Data. We now have the Power Query Editor window appear that you will have seen before. Once again, there is the Data Source Settings option here. Another use of the Data Source Settings option is the ability to change any query that has been used before importing any data. To see this in practice, we will create a new data connection to an ODBC data source. The data stored in this data source is the same as the MySQL one. We are just using different software as an intermediary between the database and Power BI. Once we click on the ODBC option in Get Data, a new window will appear. Here we are able to choose the data source name. In our case, we will choose the learner data source name. We will click on Advanced Options and enter an SQL query using the native language that is related to our original MySQL database. Once that query has been entered, we can click OK and our new table will be created. The table created has the name Query1, indicating that it has been formed using a coding query. Let's make a quick card visual using a variable from the new table. Let's use the total excluding tax variable and visualize the total amount. Now, we wish to remove a certain package type from the data we are bringing in from the ODBC connection. We can see this column in the WWI fact sale table and check the current unique values contained. Let's go to Data Source Settings to do this. We choose our connection and edit the SQL query we had entered previously. This will now include a clause that will remove the each package from the dataset being brought into Power BI. Once we have updated the query, we can click OK, and then on Close in the Data Source Settings window. Power BI is warning us that there are pending changes in our queries that are not yet applied. Let's click on Apply Changes. Aha! We see a change in the total sum of the total excluding tax that was created using the ODBC connection. By changing our query, we added additional filters to our data import, and so the data being brought into Power BI has now been changed. Great! We are learning more and more data connection features of Power BI. Now it's back to you.
Okay, so you can see that we actually connected to a different software and actually use some SQL knowledge there to bring in the data, where each package type is not equal to each. So it's going to bring in other package type from that column. So Power BI languages. So different types of data languages are used for different features within Power BI. Knowing which language is used where can help you troubleshoot issues with data connections that may arise during your work involving Power BI. So which of the following language is only used before your data has been imported into Power BI? That should be SQL now. That's correct. Okay, now let's answer some questions. We have continue the import process, changing data source settings. So continue the import process. So you have been informed by the WWIT department that the old MySQL server is being deprecated soon and you will need to access the data through another database management system to open database connectivity, which is ODBC. So this is an open standard application programming interface API that allows you to create and store different database connections within one interface. So it therefore also has different characteristics when being used to connect with Power BI. Let's see how we can use this new connection type in the report we are building. So in order to keep the unorganized file, remove the table created using MySQL database connection. You will see some error message appear on the visualization. Don't worry, we'll fix this later. Okay, we need to open this file. Okay, let's open this file, continue the import process right from here. We don't have any data here. So we could actually, I'm definitely using this Power BI desktop interface in DataCamp machine because of the databases we are connecting to. So I may not have the credentials to connect to those database. So I'm making use of the interface here and not my local Power BI machine. If I click on the file, let me click on data exercises. Okay, we have it here. So we have to open 2.1 continue the improvement process. Let's open this file. So that is coming up. Oh, while waiting for it to load, it's still loading. This is right here. Okay, we have it here. This is the other. Let me just close this one. So we have it opened already. So following the instruction, it says in order to keep an organized file, remove the table created using MySQL database connection. So let's remove this table created, which is the fat cells here. You can see remove, delete from model. So I've actually deleted it from model there. Okay, so ask me that, are you sure you want to delete this fat cell? I'll click on yes. So it's going to delete that fat cell. So you see some error messages appear on the visualization. Don't worry. So there will be an error message here because it's not actually seeing the table again. Okay, there's an error here. There shouldn't be an error because this was from another table. Okay. So now create a new connection to the WW data, this time using an ODBC connection. Let's create a connection there. So click on get data. Then we go to other databases, probably more. Yeah, more. So from the more section, we can click on order. And we have the ODBC connection here. And click on connect. So we're going to choose the data source name. We have Nela here, just one here. Click on OK. Oh, I was supposed to click on the advanced option. So let's do that one more time. We don't want to import everything here. So let's close, cancel, and do it again. Get data, more, other data connection, ODBC connection. Then learner, I'm supposed to click on this advanced option and just use some SQL statements to bring in a particular table. I don't want to bring in all the old tables. Just to select star from. So from the table ww underscore wwi underscore fat sale. So where customer key is not null, so we use the where clause. Which now allow me to write as if I'm writing within an SQL interface. Where customer key. So I have to make sure the column customer key I think I need to follow the customer is not no. Let's see if we are correct. Because okay. Okay, let's edit the code. So customer key outline. Okay, we encountered an error while trying to connect. You have an error in your SQL system. Check the manual that responds to your MySQL version form. So it will tell you what is happening, but let's see. Let me edit the code again. Actually remove this quote in customer key. What we're after is the column. Normally a column is not supposed to be written like this. There's supposed to be an underscore. We have two column names. But let me just leave it like this first and see if it's going to connect. So it's still having same issue. Let me edit it again. Okay. Okay. What I will do, let me just go to the code and see the way it was written. I don't know why they are putting customer key in a code like this. Okay, this is not a comma. So let me just copy this to use. This is not like a quote. This is like something different. I don't know what this text is. Is it like an hyphen or what? Like an hyphen. Looking at my keyboard, let me see if I can see that. No. What code is that? Oh, let me see. Let me see if I can copy it from here and just make use of this. Okay, let's see if we can copy it from the interface here. Let's see from here. Okay. Okay. Okay, because of this, whatever it is here, I couldn't find that on my keyboard. Let's see here. Hmm. You see, so that was what I couldn't find on my keyboard. So that's why it's not connecting. So I don't know what that code is. That's symbol is, but I need to find out. It's like apostrophe, but different from apostrophe. And this is you're supposed to write it when trying to connect or select a column from this Power BI interface. Let's follow the instruction and continue. Let's click on load to load that particular section into the report. So rename the new table query one created from ODBC source to WWI fat sales. So we are going to rename that to WWI fat sale. We're going to call it query one. Let's rename it to WWI fat sale. Rename underscore fat sale. Okay. So the visualization is the visual is back. Pretty easy. If not, refresh the report to ensure the visual in the report are up to date after the creation of the new connection. No need. So create another card visual to show the total profit achieved by WWI. Use the profit column from the FAT sales table. Let's bring in another card, a card visual. So a card visual can just come here. The total, use the profit column, total profits. So you can just search for profits right here. Profits, let's see. What is the profit from this table? Total is 10 million profits. That should be 10 million. So that's correct. Okay, the last challenge is changing this data source settings. So in the previous exercise, you set up a database connection using the ODBC option. In this exercise, we make some changes to the established data connection. You are informed that the senior management team wants you to exclude package types, pair, and each from your reports. They also want the data connection that you are creating to have organizational privacy levels. You have to make changes to your database connection, update the privacy level of the connection, and identify how this change the information you have. Okay, let's continue with this same report. I'll just make this a little bit smaller and bring it in. Okay, so from data source settings, change the SQL query that is used in the ODBC connection so that it includes a filter on the package type. The new query below can also be found in the package text file in the dataset folder. So we have, okay, the new query in the dataset folder. We're just going to write it out. So we need to go to the data source setting. That should be, hold up. Instant sources. Can I click it from here? Will it take me to the, okay, no, it won't take me to the settings here. Let's see how I can get to the data source setting. Let me click on the FAT cell and see if I can get to the settings from here. I can't from there. Okay, the data source. So from the transform tab, you can get to data source settings. Let's do that. Okay. Then I can click on the learner. Then click on, is it edit permission? Let me see, change source settings. Okay. Yeah, we can do that from here. So now we need to update it to what? So we need to put a filter on the package type. So the filter is supposed to be where customer key is not null and we unclose and package type not in. So we want package type not in pair and each. So it's going to return the other package type. Package not in. I'm going to use double quotes. Not in pair, comma, not in each. Then we updated the data source setting. Then we can just close. So we need to apply the changes that we've made to our data source. Apply changes. Just going to reload. Apply the changes made to the report. Then we can see. So you can see our report gets updated. It asks, after having updated your data connection, what is now displayed for the total profit? So total profit is now 273K. Excellent job. Once we remove some of the package types from the imported data, we can see that the total profit has decreased substantially, ensuring data connection are accurate and fit for purpose has a big impact on our ability to visualize and analyze data. So you could see that once we just do some sort of filtering on the data sets, your report gets updated automatically. Interesting. So this was easy, and I think this is the lowest minutes I've spent on a live stream, just 30 minutes plus. If we have data source settings, that should be for day 65. So sorry, day 66. So that'll be the end of the live stream today. All right, so thanks for staying to the end of the live stream. So if you found value learning Power BI journey with me, in this Power BI learning journey with me, do well to support the channel by giving this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and put on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever I go live or drop a new content on the channel. As usual, I'll see you on the next video on the channel, and I'll see you on day 66. Do well to download those files under the YouTube description and practice also and get your hands dirty. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.